This is how to set up the EMG nerve conduction machine. Jordan is going to open it up and show you the different pieces of the machine. Please note that when in Paris, we use a special dedicated plug that's orange to plug the machine in, and then the black plug from the computer will have to go in a different plug. Okay. So this is the base of the machine. It gets set on the table, and coming out of the back, looking at the machine from the back, there's the power cord that gets plugged into the wall. There is the ground that gets attached to the laptop, and there is a Ethernet cable that also gets connected to the laptop. There are two main components that hook in the back of the machine. The first is called an amplifier, and it looks like this, and it has this cable on it and a plug that goes in the machine. You'll see the red line corresponds with the red line where it says amplifier. The second component that we have to attach to the back of the machine is the stimulator, and this is what it looks like, and it's wired straight into the machine with this plug, and it goes in where it says eStim, and this will be color-coded blue. So as you can see, that's blue on blue for the stimulator and red on red for the amplifier. The computer is then connected to the laptop. We're using the Toshiba laptop, and it sits on the machine like this. Unfortunately, this particular laptop has a magnetic shutoff, so in order for this to function, a paper or book has to go between the machine and the laptop. So we set it up like this, and that will keep it functioning. There are two connections to the laptop. The Ethernet cable is plugged in, and then a ground wire that we showed you earlier connects to the screw that's sticking out of the frame. The power supply for the laptop is plugged into the wall, and a plug separate from the machine so to avoid interference. The EMG room should have a lamp in it so that the lights can be turned out when the needle part of the test is performed. Now we are set up here and ready to go with the final phase of setup. The machine power has been turned on, and you can see the power light on the base. We now turn on the laptop. The machine has to be on first. The laptop is powered up. There's no password at this point. And then one goes to the symbol that says Sierra Wave and starts the software for the EMG. This is the startup screen for the program, and we'll have to pick a patient's name or resume a previous exam. In this case, we are going to start a new exam. This is the clinical data we enter in order to start the test. Most important things are the patient's full name and the physician's name. The rest is not of great importance. Once the patient information is entered and we're ready to start, we then set up the preamplifier that's been placed on the machine or on the table. We use this white multifunction plug for the first part of the test, which is the nerve conduction, and it goes into channel 1. When properly hooked up, should look like this with the plug in channel 1. The amplifier is upside down in this instance. If known, we then choose the test we're going to do, typically carpal tunnel, either right or left. If we're doing both, just select right and it will be adjusted. For upper extremity tests, we'll need 2 of the long strips, as well as 2 grounding pads, and at least 2 of the bar electrodes. For lower extremity, it's the bar electrodes and the grounding, but we do not require the long strips for legs. The proper setup for this test is to put a pillow on the patient's lap and to place the electrodes starting with the right hand palm up. The only thing we place on the back of the hand is the grounding electrode. The grounding electrode is turned over and placed on the back of the hand with the connection piece facing towards the fingers. Then we turn the hand over. Then we take the 2 long strip electrodes, starting with the thumb between the 2 joints, place the first one, wrap it all the way around with the tip pointing down, and the second one between the other on the other side of the joint. The second set of strip electrodes go on the index finger in about the same position between the first 2 joints and wrap all the way around so they're facing down. We then will measure and place a bar electrode on the thumb, taking the space between this and this bump. If you go 1/3 of the way up between that is where that will go, like that. There are 3 critical measurements that have to be done, starting with the thumb. The thumb is measured at 10 centimeters, placing the silver part in the middle of the electrode, going down the edge and going to 10 and making a dot. We then place the tape across the palm with the silver part in the middle of the electrode and make a dot at 10 again. We then measure from the index finger, placing the silver part in the middle of the electrode and coming up the palm the same way the nerve would to 14, which ends up being essentially the same spot. And the last measurement is from the center of that electrode coming across to this point and then up. So we would measure from there to there, which is 4, and then come straight up to 8. Now we've got...
all these away?
Yeah.
Well, the controllers have increased